Hello, everybody, and welcome to this very special episode of the Mustang Owners Podcast. I'm your host, John Clore.
And I'm your co-host, Mike Ray.
Well, you know, I know we have Mustang stories. I do from my past Ford Special Vehicle team. Before that, it was Auto Week. Then I did Ford Racing and Ford Performance.
Yeah, and I got Mustang stories from my time at Team Mustang, with Roush Performance, Celine Performance, and most notably, the Mustang Owners Club of Southeastern Michigan, as you guys know as MOX.
That's right. But we want to hear your Mustang story. And Mike, that's what the Mustang Owners Podcast is all about.
Yes, we're all here to hear your stories, and everybody has one. Doesn't matter if you own a Mustang, everybody has a story, and we want to hear all of them.
That's right. So, to that end, a couple weeks ago, months ago, years ago, when was it?
Yeah, it was about a month ago or so.
We had an episode where we told you, I think we had a little short,
Yep.
that we were going to try a new format, a Mustang Roundup format, because a lot of you, we read in your comments and you say, I want more, I want more. It's just like, did your wife ever ask you that for that stuff?
Yep, and you know what? In a lot of current news, things like that, people want to know. So this is the way to do it, and we're going to try this format out tonight.
So we listened, we heard, and people put in ideas, and we said, you know what? Let's give it a shot. We told you we'd have this new format. So today we're going to try the Mustang Roundup version of the Mustang Owners Podcast. I'm going to give you kind of the things you asked for, and all we're asking for is your input. When we're done with this, if you'd like to do this every month, once a month, every time, totally up to you guys. Because Mike, that's what we're here for.
Yeah, you're the one who's going to decide how we move forward, and we're looking forward to hearing your feedback.
Right. So on the start of our Mustang Roundup, we want to talk about two things that are top center that's happening, that we listen to people every day, and what are they talking about in the Mustang world. So let's start off with this one. The number one thing we're hearing is the dark horse, the dark horse, the dark horse. Why, John, do we have the dark horse? Why don't we have a Shelby? Are you guys coming out with a GT500? Are you coming out with a Boss 4029? Are you coming out with a... Why don't we have Shelby?
Yep,
And
nonstop.
and so we have to answer that. And it's a pretty simple answer. And a lot of people don't address it, especially at Ford. They don't want to talk about it. But the point is, we don't have a Shelby in the lineup. The top dog is...
The Dark Horse SC now.
No, actually, you're right. The SC
Yeah.
But before, it was the
Dark Horse.
Yeah, that was the top of the line. There was no more GT500, GT350, Shelby, anything. And there's this good reason for that. The good reason is, we're just like Mike. We went back to the days of Bunky Knudsen and Lee Iacocca, and somebody at Ford, like Bunky, said, why are we paying the Shelby guy to use his name on our car, racing with him, when we should have our own car? And he got Larry Shinoda to do that car called the Boss.
Boss, yes.
So that was a Ford. It was not a Shelby. This was a very important car. The Boss got into Trans Am racing, and it was the Boss. It was their Ford's own vehicle. And eventually Shelby just dropped out.
Yeah.
Not only not racing anymore, not building the cars anymore. The 69 Shelbys, they're actually, had to be re-VINed to sell them as 70s.
Yep.
So it was over. Ford decided, why spend the money on somebody else's name? And Mike, that's exactly what's happening today, where the Ford management is believing all the millions of dollars. I think, Mike, it was something like $800 per car.
Yeah, I heard that.
Or royalty.
I don't know if that's true fact or not, but that's what's being reported.
So if when they sell 35, 38, 40,000 cars, and they're almost $1,000 of each one of those just goes for the use of the Shelby name, why don't we just do our own name? The other thing was, and I don't know if I called it, they call it heritage burnout. Have you heard that yet?
I've not heard that.
Okay, so Ford marketers believe there's heritage burnout. We have too much emphasis on Mustang history, like the Boss, the Boss 9, the Shelbys, any Shelby that Mach 1s. All those are names from the past. And when they came up with Dark Horse, they wanted a name that young people could say, this is our generation's car. So to fully invest in that, and if they're going to make that leap, got to jump in with both feet.
Yeah.
So they decided, hey, Shelby, you go do your thing. It was a fun run, and it was, since 07.
Yep.
And on and off with the 350s and the 500s. But if you've got a Shelby right now, that's going to be the last of them for a while.
From Ford. Shelby is still making their own vehicles, but through Ford production, yeah, it's going to be the last one for a while.
Yeah, so we are building with RTR, but I think Dark Horse is going to be the guy for a while. And Mike, I know our friend Gary Patterson was asked the same question. Was it in a magazine?
I think Road and Track, Gary made a quote recently, and I think he hit the nail on the head with it.
Yeah, he said, look, it's cyclical.
Yeah.
He thinks Ford is going to be back saying, hey guys, you want to do Shelby again?
Yeah.
And I don't know if it's true, if young people don't know. If you're 19 and you don't know who Carroll Shelby was. I remember, I'm going to bring this up.
I don't know if anybody in the Mustang community here doesn't know who Carroll Shelby is.
I'm going to say, I went to one Ford meeting where we had this young lady come in, and we were talking about Shelby, and And I looked at her, she looked lost, and I said, do you know who Carol Shelby was? And she said, wasn't she some kind of race car driver? So not all young people know Carol Shelby, nor do they really care anymore. So maybe that's why the dark horse is the future. We'll see. Yeah, but thank you, Gary. I think you're right. It is cyclical, and someday maybe it'll happen. You know,
Yeah.
Who knows?
Yeah.
So, Mike, that's not all. There's another buzz thing that's going on, and do we really fight with General Motors? Do we fight?
No, I think it's more of a kind of a pride thing, if you will, going back and forth with it. But yeah, the big news now is the GTD competition, right? They obliterated the Corvette ZR1X record at the ring, right? So this past April, the new Ford Mustang GTD competition rewrote history at Nürburgring, reclaiming the fastest lap crown for Ford with a staggering, ready for this?
Yeah.
6.40.835 lap time.
Good God.
This isn't just a win, it's a major statement. By shaving nearly 9 seconds off the previous record held by the Chevy Corvette ZR1X, Ford didn't just beat its hometown rival, it put the European supercar establishment on notice.
Yeah, I mean, Mike, that thing is a 1,250 horsepower all-wheel drive Corvette.
Yes.
And to go out there and, I was stunned, and I didn't even know there was a competition GTD.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, so when we should have been happy, but we had to go back. Why did we have to go back?
Because earlier, back in 2025, Chevy one-upped us with a 1,250 horsepower Corvette, as John just said, and they clocked a 6.49 lap time, snatching the title from the standard Mustang GTD. But then Ford CEO Jim Farley's response at that time was very simple, very Ford, very Mustang community, right? He said, game on. 1 year later, Ford returns with the Mustang GT competition and even a more extreme evolution of their $325,000 Halo car. Driven by factory driver Dirk Mueller, the GTD competition didn't just edge out the Corvette, it blew it away by nearly 8.5 seconds. Wow. With this lap, the Mustang GTD competition is now the fastest street-legal American car to ever do the lap at Nürburgring. It sits in an elite company, trailing only the $2.7 million Mercedes AMG 1 hypercar for the title of the fastest production car. Did you hear the million in there, guys?
Well, so, Mike, they decided record's too important, so we're going to take the GTD, and we're going to, it's like a GTD-R, like a competition model, much like you'd see, wasn't there a SVO competition?
Right.
So essentially they took this race car that set a record and said, all right, let's give it more oomph. So changes were done in aero.
Yeah.
They worked on, now they won't talk about the tuning of the engine.
Right.
I can't get a number from what's the horsepower.
No, in active rear wing too. Now it says they're listing 815 horsepower, right? But we zip. So that's what's on the record.
When Coletti came out with the Terminator, we said, "Oh yeah, I think it's got like 300 horsepower." No, it doesn't. Yeah, to be safe, but they made it lighter, so lighter weight, better aero, better tires, but they obviously tuned the engine.
Yeah.
So now finally we're done. We have to worry about Corvettes.
Yeah. So we got the record now, but do you think Corvette's just going to lay down?
Yes, I think they're done. No more Corvettes. I think they're over. Right?
They're going to come back. They're going to try to beat this one right here, and then guess what? Game on, part 2.
Okay, you really think so? You know so?
I think it's just a fun competition within Ford and GM.
And they're spending lots of money, so keep buying those GTDs.
Yes. Yes.
Oh, okay. So we've got so many more things, but this is the kind of thing we want to bring to your attention because you're asking and talking about it. And Mike, I think it's good that we, air that out a little bit.
Yeah, hot topics, and that's what we're trying to share with you guys, that we're getting all the questions from that you don't see behind the camera.
And wait till they hear the topic of the day. You guys will not want to miss that. But before we get to that, Mike, I have a favorite segment. Everybody sends us stuff.
Yeah.
And they send, I appreciate your pictures, especially pictures of your car, funny things that you saw. But when you say, hey, this has to be true, John, I saw it on the internet. Mike, do you believe everything you see on the internet? And now with AI?
Yeah, it's crazy. AI is really making everything very difficult for a lot of people.
So if you're going to send us something, don't send us like pictures of Mike and I in a race car suit at Le Mans. We weren't there. Stop doing that. But we did get this great picture. We'll put it up on the screen here. It's a photo, and I don't think I love commemorative things from
Yeah.
Mustang. I love memorabilia. This is a picture called Mustang slogan buttons on Facebook Marketplace, and this as a set was up for was $60. The guy marked it down to $30.
These are from the 60s,
And
right?
these are from the 60s. So if you look on their screen, you can see your father's Mustang. There's one that says, I hate girls, but in small letters underneath it says, without Mustangs. And one says, I hate boys, without Mustangs. The other one says, beware, I've got Mustang fever. Remember Mustang
Yeah,
fever?
yeah.
And now we still have it, the Mustang 50 fever.
Yes.
Okay, and then the last one, Mustanger, would you believe bus rider? So where would you get who saved these pins from the 60s and then puts them up on Facebook Marketplace? Well, guess who spotted them for us?
I can only guess one person.
One person, one of our fan favorites of the podcast, Paul knew it out there in California. Paul, thanks for sending us those pictures of the pins. And by the way, I just didn't have the heart to buy them.
I was asking, that was my next question, if John bought them or not. But
No, I did not. I did not buy them. But if you have a great picture, you can send it to me, jclore@CarsInContext.com, and maybe we'll put it on the air if it's not too crazy.
Yeah.
And please, guys, we don't want pictures of you next to your car, especially when you wear your Speedo. Okay. Anyway, so Mike, we got to get to it. The topic of the day, and I don't want to cause problems. I don't want to stir muckety mucks, but I think you guys know what we're going to talk about. And after we hear you at our podcast tent, or you come to the Ford tent and talk to me, you're all saying, "Oh, the Mustang's S650 is so expensive. Will the S750 or 850 be less? Can we get roll-up windows? Can we, guys, stop." The question is now, the next Mustang. Should Ford start with a clean sheet of paper? In other words, Mike, I'm going to say this out loud.
Yeah.
Should there be a Mustang 3?
right.
So, you sell them, we deal with them, you know how much they are, we know what their strengths are and what their shortcomings are.
Correct.
Is it time for Ford Motor Company to say, you know what, like we did back with the Mustang 2 when nobody was buying the gas hogs and people were parking their Shelbys behind the barn and their Boss 9s, and we wanted a small fuel-efficient car. And we sold almost 380,000 of them in the first year. Second best seller.
Yeah.
They made Mustang 2s. And then, even though you said, oh, you hated them, you loved them back then because they were the right car for the right time. And then we changed again. Fox Body was a complete departure in style. Hatchback was great. We kept that. But we had a notchback too.
Correct.
So we listened. And then SN95, I mean, people wanted that design back, the Gail Halderman design. Here we're shooting this show at the Gail Halderman Barn Museum in Tip City, Ohio, right here in his lounge. And that's because the heritage.
Yeah.
But now, Mike, people are telling me since S197,
Yeah.
we got that beautiful Mustang design, and then we morphed it to the 15 car, and then we got when the 550 came out, the 650 was even more. They want to, how much more do we take that platform, or do we change the platform? What are you in favor of doing?
Yeah, I can't wait to hear everybody's feedback and response to this. So please respond to this. I'm open to
Mustang
starting
3?
fresh. Yes. Let's start something there, and hopefully we can get some price points down a little bit to make them a tad more affordable. And if there's some options that have to go away and be a little bit more manual, so be it. You know what I mean? But if it's more affordable that people can do it, especially the younger buyers, I'm all for it.
So a lot of the tech that's in our cars, we're getting to the point where it's too much tech. We need all the tech that's in there? Do you guys need in your SUV that you forgot your kids in the back seat? All the technology is it's just so much. The screens are like you're an air traffic controller.
The screens are a great example, in my opinion.
Yeah, some people like the analog gauges. They just want the analog gauges. That's it. I don't need HVAC controls where I got to find it on the screen. I just want a button,
Right,
or a knob, or turn the vent on. Windows that are easier to use. Do we need all this stuff? And I think, Mike, I'm going to be the counterpoint here.
Yeah.
It's long past Mustang time. Yeah, I think.
I agree.
No, and I only say this, folks, because before we do a podcast from Hal Sperlich's memorial? I think we might have talked about that.
Something very briefly, yeah.
Losing Hal Sperlich, the guy who invented this thing, he told me something before he passed, and I truly believe he was still a Mustang genius the day he passed away.
Yes.
He said that he believes that Mustang's formula is now being lost and it's diluted. It was not ever meant to be this 800 horsepower supercar. It was meant to be a usable, accessible, affordable, fun car. And if we came back with something, say, the size of a Focus,
Right.
Made the body like when they saw this, oh my God, what's that? What is it? I got to have that. And that's a totally different looking car. Maybe we can make it kind of look like a baby Ford GT or something cool.
Yeah.
That's the new Mustang? and it's got a hatchback and a fold-down seat so I can take my dog to the vet. And it, you know, I can get somebody 6 foot in the back seat instead of a suitcase.
Yeah.
And it comes with an EcoBoost as standard, so it's got 300 horsepower, smaller, lighter, not loaded with $80 million worth of tech, and I can get it for $25.95 or $29.95. That may turn Mustang completely around. I think, and then if you want to have the, you know, plop in the 800 horsepower engine and pay whatever you can. But I think as a basic car, you know, instead of having a kid get a Kia Soul, oh, they can't get a Kia Soul anymore.
Right.
Goodbye.
But yeah, you want people, especially the younger generation, John, to get into the Mustang hobby, right?
That they can afford.
Affordable. Yeah. So I mean, you know, a lower content vehicle, I think, is the way to go for new ones. And you definitely still want your monsters out there, right?
Yeah.
We can't let the, you know, well, I was going to say Camaro, but they don't exist anymore either.
Well,
right?
they might come back on the Cadillac platform. But okay, so a lighter, smaller, more affordable, less tech heavy, more fun. You know when the Mazda Miata came out, it was just a very basic car.
Yeah.
It was so much fun to drive. It didn't have all that crap on it.
And you still see a ton of them on the track.
And they are. They're good.
Yeah.
So maybe it is time for Mustang 3. So Ford, are you listening to your Mustang owners?
And more importantly, are you listeners listening?
What do you
think?
think?
Give us your feedback. We
Or
want to hear it.
do you want Mustang 750 and 850 bigger, heavier, bigger, more expensive? Do we keep going that route, or is it time for a reset? Let us say it in the comments.
Yeah.
I want to read them so everybody can read them.
Yes.
Make it happen. Mike, that was awesome.
Yes.
I'm so glad we're on the same page with that.
Yes.
Because if we agree with Hal Sperlich, we're going places. Okay, now it's time for something new on the Mustang Owners Podcast. It's time for the Mustang Owners Podcast trivia question. You got it. You think you know Mustangs? You think you know? I don't know. This one's a real tough one. Comes to us with thanks to our buddy Ken Appel at the Carlisle Ford Nationals, because they're having a wonderful anniversary. But anyway, here's the question. I want you to try to answer it to the best of your ability. If you don't know, just put in the comments, I didn't know this, thanks. Here we
Do
go.
not cheat in Google.
Oh, that's right. All right, so here's the question. Ready? What is the name of the famed 1975 Mustang II built by Roush Performance for Detroit area street racer? Do you know
Joe Rugirello.
Do you know Joe Rugirello?
I know of him.
Yeah, he legend.
Yes.
He was a Ford guy, and he was going to whip everybody's butt if you had nothing. Now, he terrorized the Motor City street racing back to the late 1970s with this Mustang II. What was the name? So do not cheat. Mike, please, you're right. Don't go to Google. Either you know it or you don't, and you'll be surprised. But, Mike, we're not going to tell him right away. You know why?
No, because it's going to be somewhere very special.
That's right. So we'll give you the answer. We'll give you a couple seconds to think about it, not to look at your phone, right after this brief message from our sponsor. Hey, podcast fans. Just a little break from this really great episode to tell you about one of our favorite sponsors of the Mustang Owners Podcast. In fact, our first sponsor, and that is Ford, the Collector's Edition. Yeah, I'm just taking a little break here from my podcasting duties, and you need to take a little break from your work as a Ford enthusiast by taking a look at this fantastic Ford, the Collector's Edition. This thing is only going to be available for a few more months, and you got to take advantage of it right now. So I'm going to step away from the podcast desk, and I'm going to show you what you're missing out on if you don't get this beautiful Collector's Edition very soon. Yep, here it is in my own man cave. I have the copy of Ford, the Collector's Edition. Not only did I help work on this with our co-host Mike Ray, but I've actually got one of the earliest copies, 410-page hardbound book, this fantastic collection of archival materials, all in this great presentation case with all those wonderful, absolute stunning badges. This belongs on your coffee table or maybe in your library. And of course, it's still going. The $100 offer is still available this summer. If you're a podcast listener and you go on to www.iconicglobalsports.com, you click on Club 25 for the discount code, guess what? $100 will come off. So instead of $299, it'll be $199, be shipped to your door for $30. Get it now while you can. Don't wait until they're on eBay, because when they're going to be on eBay, they're going to be $500 and you'll kick yourself. So from podcast headquarters, John Clore signing off about getting your copy of Ford, the Collector's Edition, the one and only. Get them while you can. Thanks. Welcome back to the Mustang Owners Podcast. We're glad you joined us on this very special Mustang Roundup edition of the podcast. with my host, with my co-host Mike Ray, and guess what? We just gave them the toughest trivia question on the record.
Yes, but here's a little fun fact for you guys. Anybody attending the Carlisle Ford Nationals, this special car, this answer will be there in Building T on display, celebrating the Roush 50th anniversary at the Ford Nationals, June 4th to June 7th.
They're in that specialty display. You want to see this 1975 Mustang II that terrorized illicit street racing in Detroit. Go look at it. It's a beast. So you know the name of that car? Let's give it to him. It's called Sudden Death. Just like the hockey overtime.
That's absolutely true.
And the reason why I called it that, people had, first of all, Mustang II had no respect. There's Corvette stuff. I remember in Detroit growing up, the guy in Woodward with a Fairlane 427 was Black Bart. Nobody messed with Black Bart for a while.
Heard about him
then
too.
there was that SS 396 Chevelle. Oh, he was the hottest car. Then there was this Street Hemi. Remember the one that's on the Mopar YouTube channel?
Yeah.
Oh, he was never been beat, right? Well, Joe went to Jack Roush and said, listen, I want you to put a 460 big block and bore it out, and I want so much horsepower in a Mustang II. The car only weighs like 2,400 pounds.
Yeah.
And I want to smoke everybody's rear end on Woodward. And so guess what? At one time, this 505 cubic inch Ford big block put out twin turbos.
Yes. Yeah.
So according to legend, I don't know anybody that beats Sudden Death. If you go up against them, you lose in Sudden Death. You're done. So
and try to check if you're looking at that car in Roush at the Roush 50th anniversary in Building T. See if Tyler Wolf's there. He's the historian at the Roush Museum right there. He'll probably have a lot more background and a lot more stories that he can answer some more questions for you guys in case you want to go in more detail about that car.
And Mike, you and I did a show back when I did my Cars in Context TV show on YouTube, it's still out there, where we went to the museum.
Yeah.
Before they had Sudden Death.
I remember when the car first came back. So... Yeah,
they went through an extensive restoration in 2016.
Correct.
And to get back into the Roush Museum in Livonia, people can still tour that, right?
Yes, absolutely. You can still tour it. I think their hours change a little bit now, and they're open during the week. But yes, definitely look up the Roush collection in Livonia. It's on Market Street, so definitely something you need to check out in case you haven't been there yet.
Very cool. All right, so now it's time for something new. We wanted to talk about you all asked for this. And you wanted to tell, well, I want my Mustang story, but I didn't want to be on the podcast. So I said, well, send me your Mustang story. So, Mike, we got a Mustang story.
Yeah.
And it's from a guy named Ryan Gerardo. And he is in the military, in the Detroit area. And he sent me this note, and we're going to tell you his Mustang story and show you some of his Mustang story cars. He said, morning, John. I'm relatively new to the Mustang family, but thanks to you and your podcast, Mike, how about that?
Yeah, that's awesome.
I've learned quite a bit in these last couple of years. Say hi to Mike. Okay, so Mike, hi.
Well, hello.
Thanks, Ryan. I've been a loyal podcast listener and now a viewer as well. So he's followed us from Spotify over to YouTube for you guys.
Yep.
In fact, every Mustang Times issue, because I still write for Mustang Times,
Yes.
I flip right to your column to further my education.
That's awesome.
Very cool, Ryan. Thank you for that. He said, we met up in Port Huron a couple of years ago. Didn't your buddy from the Flat Rock plant do that Port Huron show at Main Street Memories or me?
Yeah, old Gary Stewart who used to be from Flat Rock. Yes,
wasn't he Ford on the Team Mustang? Or
he was part of the plant management for Mustang launch. Yeah.
So he put on a show up in Port Huron, Michigan years ago. It was a big car show on the riverfront. We went to downtown.
Yep.
He said he went to the last car show up in Port Huron, Michigan along the riverfront, and he met me. He said, I recognized your voice, but was slow to put two and two together. And when your wife said you have a face for radio, thanks, Jenny. I have a face for radio.
She's been saying that for years.
He said, I mentioned a recent podcast discussing those old Hertz Mustangs and that what a wild time that was in Mustang history.
Yeah.
So I remember this guy. He did come up to me, and that's what you do when you come up to the tent. We talk about different things. So he said, thank you for everything you do and have done for the Mustang community. Attached file for your reading pleasure. And I'll catch you down the road. Wonder where he got that slogan.
Yeah, where do you get that slogan from?
Okay, so Mike, Ryan Gerardo, he's going to start with his story, and we'll start putting pictures up on the screen so you can follow along. And he says, my path to automotive delinquency, which is really
for all of us, right?
Began in the summer of '84. I was an 11-year-old. It's 11 and 84.
Wow.
Gosh. Folded into the non-existent backseat of a silver and black Fox body Mustang 5-liter like a piece of human origami. No, wait. The Fox body, I can still kind of fit in your car. And I don't think as much as in a S197 I can't fit back.
Right.
But your car and my Mustang II I can easily fit.
Yeah, much more room.
They're
than those,
amazing that a Mustang II and a Fox body has more room than an S197.
Isn't that crazy? Yeah.
And he said, my friend's dad, a man who had clearly viewed his speed limits as gentle suggestions, a lot of us do,
Yeah.
wound out each gear until the telephone poles blurred into a picket fence. The car's guttural roar permanently rewired my adolescent brain. Now, a lot of you guys know what Ryan's talking about because if you drove in a 5.0 back in the day, and those cars sounded so good.
Yeah.
So, Ryan, we get you. We understand. That's a beautiful part of the story. So why don't you take the next one? What did he say here?
So fast forward to the spring of 1993. I'm a fresh-faced airman at Little Rock Air Force Base reporting for duty. When I see it, a cherry red LX50 coupe gleaming in the parking lot like a beacon of poor financial decisions.
Which it was.
Yes. The dormant gearhead goblin in my soul awoke with a screech. Unfortunately, my finances at the time consisted of instant ramen and a profound misunderstanding of interest rates, so a horse of my own remained firmly out of reach. Life went on.
But not for Mike Ray, who has a 93 Fox body. In fact, your Fox body's still here in the museum. So then 30 years later, what happens to poor Ryan? Well, he sees a new 2024 S650 Mustang 30 years later. And you'd think the guy'd be over it by now, right?
Yeah, right.
You know what he says? That was it. My inner 11-year-old had enough. He had enough. He kicked down the door to my sensible adult brain and screamed, "We're doing this!"
How many of you can relate to that?
So if you see the S650, you just go, you know what? I've waited long enough. I got to have it. So Ryan, we get it. Then he did something which you should talk about because you're a Ford salesman.
Yeah. So the first thing he did wrong is that he called his Ford salesman Chris. My name is Mike. So that's who you're supposed to call first. He, being the devil on my shoulder I needed, recommended I go to Ford's website to just look.
No, you don't look.
No.
You desire.
Spec out your dream car, he said. We can talk numbers when it gets here. The logic was flawless. I'm turning 50 this year, so time is running out to be this irresponsible.
Well, guess what happened, Mike? Later that day, there I was, tongue out, brow furrowed in concentration, clicking options like a kid assembling a puzzle. Performance pack? Yes. Obnoxiously loud exhaust? Absolutely. After an hour of fiscally questionable choices, I hit submit.
Yes.
And apparently that unleashed his creation upon the Ford Motor Company. So that actually puts in your order?
No, actually, the salesman has to put in the order through there, but he has to submit it to you, and then you can create the order there and get our approval, and then it'll be pushed to Ford.
Okay, so tell them what happened after that.
So the following months were a master class in obsession. The VIN had been created.
Huh?
I'm whispering to myself, it's in the paint shop. Final assembly is complete. It was like tracking a pregnancy, only with more horsepower. So once you put your order in, Ford's going to send you a confirmation email that they had received your order. And then, depending on what vehicle line it is and how quick they're building and when it's getting scheduled, you will get a follow-up email from Ford saying, this is your scheduled date with your new VIN number.
Right.
So it'll give you basically the week. They try to pinpoint to the day, but it's usually the week that it's going to be built. Or it'll say, it's still on delay, we'll check back with you in another 30 to 45 days and give you another update. As a sales guy, they should keep you updated on any information on Ford with the new vehicle order. So, keep you updated on it. So, hey, your vehicle's going to build on June 3rd, and it should be back here to the dealership in 3 weeks after that, depending on where the dealership's located.
Well, lucky for Ryan, he didn't have a lot of delays because he said, the delivery day finally arrived. And that's exciting for anybody who's ever bought a new Mustang, even a used one.
Yeah.
He said, shrouded in secrecy, so he didn't say anything about this.
Yes.
My wife, blissfully unaware of my treachery, was on her way to pick up her new car, a very sensible 2023 Ford Escape. So he's telling his wife, Mike, let's go pick up your Escape at the dealer.
Yeah.
I had, through a stunning act of cowardice, not yet mentioned to her the Mustang. Can you believe he got away with that? So here he goes. And then what does he say? As we pulled into the dealership, there it was.
My car.
Not Ryan, you dog, you. So are you still married? That's a question. No. So what does his wife say?
What did you buy? As the seatbelt's inertia really locked her in place with the force of a fighter jet maneuver.
He said, okay, look, I stammered, pointing frantically. Chris made me do it. He
played the sales guy.
He gave me the website and I went nuts. He's an enabler. So what happened?
So the air in the showroom was thick enough to cut a knife when we walked in. Chris greeted us, completely missing the marital storm cloud overhead. Hey, good news and bad news, he said cheerfully. The Mustang is here, but I couldn't get the red seatbelts.
Oh, no, but...
Chris, I hissed through a clenched smile. She just found out about the car. Read the room.
Well, he said, we shared a nervous laugh. I turned to my wife, preparing to deploy every ounce of charm I had left, and she just stared at the car, then back at me, a slow smile spreading across her face. So you bought a Mustang, eh? Well, at least it's not another woman or booze.
Yeah, that's what I always say.
So, Mike, why don't you close that story from Mr.
Just like that, I had my car and a green light. My Mustang story has come a long way, finally satisfying that little boy from 1984. And apparently I have one get-out-of-jail-free card left. That's the great stories that we want to hear. Please keep submitting them to us, guys. We want to bring these to you as often as possible.
Now, Ryan Gerard, obviously you have a talent for writing. That was really fun. You don't have to make it that detailed, but you can. That was wonderful. Thank you, Ryan, for sending that in. And so we want to see your Mustang story. Send it to me directly at jclore@CarsInContext.com. But, Mike, we're not done.
No, one more.
You know, one thing we do know and understand from you every month is we get people saying, we love the mailbags.
Yeah.
What is it about that?
The feedback on the mailbag has been absolutely just amazing. Everybody loves it. They all want us to do them a little bit more. We try to do them once a month. But the feedback has been great, so we may have to do these more a little bit once a week, maybe read one or two a week.
So to close our brand new Mustang Roundup special edition of the Mustang News podcast, we're going to read a couple letters here.
Yeah.
I'll take the first one. So this is our Mustang mailbag to close the show today, and it's a Dear John letter. Do you ever get one of those?
I've heard about those.
Well, I just got one. Here it is.
Does Jenny know about this?
I'm not sure. Dear John, I've got $1 million idea for you guys. $1 million. You guys listening on the podcast?
Good, because we need it.
He said, really? Here you go. For every podcast, you have a segment, maybe 10 minutes. And all it is, photos or vids of a Mustang owners telling you about their car. Wait a minute. Ryan, did you hear that? Okay. You tell the details of the car and the owner's name. You get an option of location. Have them tell their Mustang story. You can do it in 50 words or less if you want. And maybe have entire clubs send you pics of their cars and tell hello to your video to show off their Mustang story. You can thank me later for this great idea, Mike. Signed by your favorite viewer from California, Paul Newitt.
I got to say, he's got to be probably one of our #1 fans ever.
Paul, that was a great idea, but as you could tell, Ryan beat you to it. Our Buy Mustang Story feature, I think, was wonderful today.
Yeah.
We'd like to have a lot of them. But thank you, Paul. Is it $1 million idea? Maybe a couple bucks worth.
Yeah, right.
Might get you a Coke.
And the first one's already under the belt.
There you.
So.
Oh, well, thank you, Paul. So, do you have one?
Yeah, I got one here. I'm going to share with you.
Okay.
So, John and Mike, I just watched your Mustang Owners podcast with Chuck Cantwell. Oh. I remembered his name, but had not heard about him for a while. Here's an idea from Mike.
Okay.
What about having Maxim host a Shelby GT350 reunion on the Thursday before the Woodward Dream Cruise, or maybe even at the Dream Cruise on Mustang Alley West, with Chuck Cantwell and anybody else from the original Shelby days in attendance? I could bring a bunch of GT350 and 350H die-cast cars at least.
He doesn't have the real ones.
Yes, right. Also, though, you'd enjoy the pic taken with D. Allen when I visited Lee Holman at the Holman Moody shop in Charlotte.
And he sends a picture. We'll show you this picture on the shop of he getting his car signed by Lee Holman. Yep. So, Mike, GT350 reunion.
So, Gary, I will. I don't know if you've known, but I did step down as president there. I'm still very close with the board of directors with Maxim, so I will share this information with them and see if it's something they can fit into their schedule this year as a good idea.
I think so.
Yeah, they're very receptive to everything there to try to make their show and their week very special. So I will forward that information to them, and we'll see what we can do.
Yeah, and Chuck, I mean, you did a great boss reunion for Maxim. Remember the great guys?
That was one of my favorite shows ever, was the boss reunion.
Yeah. And to your point, and this was by Gary Allen. Gary, to your point about bringing diecast, back in COVID days when I couldn't go to car shows, for Ford Racing, I did what we called the tabletop car show. Yeah. And people got their die-casts out, put them on the table, and then sent us pictures, and people voted on their car show. So if you'd like to have die-cast car shows on the Mustang Owners podcast, we can do that too. These are great ideas, great letters. Thanks for everybody that sent them in or made a comment on any of our videos on the Mustang Owners podcast. Mike, it was a fun Mustang Roundup today.
Yeah. So tell us, guys, what you think. Do you like it? You like this new format? If so, let us do it. So we're going to keep going, moving forward with it.
That's right. We can do this every time, every other time, once a month, whatever you like. We just love making sure that you have your Mustang story heard on the Mustang Owners podcast. So, Mike, thanks again. Thanks for your time tonight. Until next time, folks, we'll just have to catch you down the road.